Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Leslie Heisman. I'm our knowledge manager at Lucidworks, and we're so pleased to have you with us today for this session, Knowledge Management Tips for 2021. Now, before we get started, just a quick couple of housekeeping items. I know many of you are dealing with weather outages and multiple things today, so we will try to get through this content as quickly as we can. I have about 30 minutes of content planned, and then I've held some time at the end for Q&A as well. So you can be submitting your questions to the Q&A box if you do have questions. And if we don't have time to cover those at the end, I will make sure to follow up with each of you individually as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Here is our agenda for today. What we're going to do is start out by talking about the knowledge management landscape in digital work this year in 2021, how it's changed over the past year, and what common challenges that we're hearing from our customers and our clients that we're working with the digital workplace as it exists today. After we go through the top 3 challenges that we're seeing, then we will have some time for customer stories and Q&A at the end as well. And I forgot to mention too, I do have Jill here helping me with the Q&A and with some polls that we're going to do. So she might be jumping in and helping me with that as well if you see her in the chat or in the comments too. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be referencing here one of my favorite movies as we go throughout this session. And I think if there is anything that we've learned within the past year, it's been that transitioning to remote has been challenging and proven challenging for many workers. So for many of us, COVID-19's impact might be more reminiscent of the movie here, Office Space. We might be stuck in work situations that aren't ideal. We might be working from home in weird places that we hadn't anticipated before. Or, we have our kids and our spouse or our pets at home, and it's been a difficult situation compared to, what we might have been used to in the past. We might have bosses like Bill here who's checking in on our TPS reports, or they might be more hands-off. But one thing that has become clear is as many of us have started to work from home, a lot of workplaces are shifting to go digital where that hadn't really been possible in the past. There's been a huge structural change with the way that we're working and how we're doing our work, and it's happened a lot more quickly than many industries have anticipated. I know a lot of workplaces are really thinking, as the course of this year plays out, do my employees really need to be in the office in person, or can more of them work remotely? And, that might differ by industry. For example, I think about my mom, who happens to be CIO at a small town bank. And when COVID and some of the work from home restrictions hit their bank, they had to switch, pretty quickly with what they were seeing within the industry. And, they are still dealing with some of those changes that have occurred, as we've gone on this year. One thing that I do think that's become clear is that it looks like we will be working remotely even for the next few months as we roll out the vaccine and people become eligible to take that as well. So let's talk quickly about a survey that McKinsey did with business executives across multiple industries this year, where they had asked them if they had employees working from home previously, did they expect this to continue or expand in the upcoming years? And while going remote has been a big challenge for many industries, many executives say that they do predict that remote work is here to stay. I think it's interesting. I actually saw an article this morning from the Washington Post where they talked about this same thing, that many organizations have pushed back their in-office dates to at least September of 2021. There was also a comment from Bill Gates on some work that he had done where he predicts that up to 30% of people will still work from home, and that work travel in the industry will be down as well. So it looks like this will continue to change into this year. So what does this mean for organizations as we transition to fully remote work or continue to have our staff working from home? Many of us might be putting ourselves in the shoes of the productivity consultants, Bob and Bob, if you remember from the movie, and they were faced with trying to make the business more productive. And I think many of us are in this same role. We need to scale and extend our support capabilities for our organizations while still providing the same level of service externally to our customers. And often many of us are having to do this within, our current budget restrictions, or not hiring new staff where possible because we're trying to save money. This is why a lot of organizations and companies might be turning to knowledge management solutions or methodologies. So what are some of the benefits of knowledge management? At Lucidworks, we're obviously big proponents of using the right knowledge management solution, but many organizations can benefit as well from incorporating knowledge management practices into their organization. And we're big believers in knowledge-centered service, which is one of the methodologies that has been developed by the Consortium for Service Innovation. If you haven't had a chance to check out their materials and their website, they have a lot of great content, and I highly recommend checking it out. And really, some of the benefits of those methodologies are, the ability to build your own organizational learning, the ability to enable self-service on behalf of your staff, as well as optimize the use of resources that you might already have. And if you do check out some of the Consortium for Service Innovation, their materials, you'll see that a lot of their clients that have implemented the KCS methodologies are seeing huge savings in their operational costs, as well as improvements in their levels of service. And the numbers there are really staggering in that they're seeing 70% improved time to proficiency for their own internal staff where they've adopted these methodologies, 20 to 35% improved employee retention, 20 to 40% improvement in employee satisfaction as well. And this is really allowing them to better serve their customer base. And to help avoid some of those support center costs that many of us have seen a huge increase in this past year. All right, so you might be saying, Leslie, this sounds awesome. How do I implement knowledge management at my organization? And one of the big challenges with knowledge management today is just how many various systems that employees are using. Back in 2018, Forrester did a survey, and they are finding that data silos are keeping information from employees at their moments of need. And you've maybe felt this many times in your own career. I know I have as well. So we're going to do a quick poll here, if you don't mind indulging me. And Jill, if you can help me launch this poll here. What I'm curious to hear from you is how often, or what do you do if you need to find information in your digital workplace today? So here are some examples that I put out here that I use in my own personal practice, but these might be things like phoning or Slacking or messaging one of your coworkers on Teams. It might be searching your own company intranet site, just going out and Googling something, or you might have other applications that you're looking into as well. So many of these options you might be using in your workplace today. And if you do want to go ahead and submit your results, I think we are ready to show them. So Jill, if you don't mind sharing. All right, awesome. So many of you, similar to me, are phoning or Slacking or messaging a friend. you are searching your company intranet as well, and searching items like Slack or Teams, which I don't think is a huge surprise to us. As we are talking through many of these results with our clients too, we're finding very similar things. So when we're asking them what are they doing on a day-to-day basis, they are using those same applications. They're emailing, they're Slacking, they might have corporate intranet sites, SharePoint sites, Google Drive sites, similar in nature. Or, as a last resort, I know many of us are getting tired of Zoom meetings or Teams meetings, but that might be what we're doing as well if we can't find the information that we need. All right, so how does Lucidworks help you solve for this problem? Well, I would love to tell you that our knowledge management solution will solve all of your problems. I can't, of course, in good conscience say that, although I do feel like having the right technology component in place can really help you to enable your employees to be more successful. So to me, as I think about knowledge management within Lucidworks, yes, there is a huge training component as far as, training your employees and working with them and being able to see the benefits of using a knowledge management practice. But technology can also help you get a long way with regards to actually utilizing a solution that your employees will want to actually use in their day-to-day work. So our goal is to really help break down those silos within your organization, to personalize the ability for your employees to find the information that they need, and to help stoke collaboration and innovation within your organization. So let's talk a little bit about how we solve for each of these challenges. Here is one of the main challenges that we're seeing with a lot of our clients, and it's that data and experts can be siloed. So here, our poor Milton from the Office Space movie, he is down in the basement like many of us might be. He can't find his stapler. He's cut off from information that he needs. And, we might be feeling the same way today as we're working remotely. So often, if we're looking for information, we might not know exactly where to go to look for it. And sometimes even if we can find it, we don't completely trust it. So we might not be sure if it's up to date, or a lot of the times we see a lot of teams that are utilizing separate systems, and they may have in-process work that is very similar to each other, and they don't even know that, they're working on similar projects, and they might have the ability to collaborate there. Sometimes, existing search can make it hard to find this information because you just don't know the information that might be available to you. Also, you have problems with, let's say people are going on vacation or someone leaves your organization. Often that tribal knowledge can be lost with those individuals if you don't have that documented somewhere. So we're going to take another quick poll with regard to technology solutions. And again, I would love your input here on how many different technology systems does your organization use. So as we're thinking about this here, my thoughts are, of course, I'm using Slack. Like I said before, we have our Jira and Confluence systems that we use for documentation. We use Salesforce when it comes to sales. I use Zendesk for customer support. So we have a variety of systems that we're using, and I'm curious how many each of you are using as well. So Jill, if you wouldn't mind sharing those results, that would be wonderful. All right, so I am not surprised here. I think we're finding that a lot of people have more than 12, which is completely normal with regards to a lot of the clients that we're speaking with. I think with the growing of SaaS applications that we're seeing in the industry, this is not a big surprise. And, sometimes we have tools that our teams are using that we're not even aware of that we discover at a later point in time. So how can Lucidworks help you solve for this problem of disparate systems and siloed data systems? Let's say I am an employee here within my organization and I'm getting ready to plan out my vacation schedule for 2021. Let's hope so, at least that I can make it out with the travel season like it's going this year, hopefully maybe in the later part of this year. So I might go to search for my holiday schedule for my company because I need to know when the holiday schedules are. The first problem I might encounter is I'm not sure exactly where to go to find this information. So it could be in my HR portal, it might be in my SharePoint or my Google Drive, or it could be stored on an internal intranet site somewhere. And this is often what a lot of our employees of our clients struggle with as well. They're not sure where to go to search. So one of the ways that we solve for this problem with our knowledge management solution is the ability to pull in content into an app or website that you can create for your own employees here, where you're pulling in content from various sources. And that really solves the problem of the employees not knowing where to go to find the information that they need. So here, this screenshot here is a demo that we've built called Workplace that could be an example for employees, where I can go as an employee and search for holiday schedule across all my various systems. So you can see here we're pulling information from SharePoint, from Google Drive, from our HR system, a variety of systems that appear within this portal here. And we do have popular connectors for all of the various systems that you might want to connect to. Some of the most popular ones that we have are SharePoint, ServiceNow, Google Drive, Jira, Confluence, Salesforce, and Zendesk as well. But we do have a lot of other connectors available. And if you're curious about that list, you can go to lucidworks.com/connectors to check that out. One other thing I want to note here too is that you can customize the look and feel of this workplace app, if you will, to match the brand guidelines for your organization. So you're choosing, what data do you want to connect to and have appear here within your own app space for your employees, and also does it match the look and feel of your organization's branding. So let's say I'm continuing here with my search for that holiday schedule. I've typed in holiday schedule up at the top and I'm hitting enter here. Notice that it shows me other files that are applicable, but that the 2021 file comes up to the top of my list. And this is because this is the most relevant result to my search based on the signals, that the system is indexing today for me. And we're going to talk about this a little more later as we talk about signal-driven machine learning, which is one of the components to our solution. But these could be things that other users are searching for and seeing within your system as well. So this might be, if I'm searching on holiday schedule and I'm clicking on a document, or I'm reading it and I'm sharing it or printing it or giving it a thumbs up, the system is indexing all of these signals, and it's really providing me with a personalized search experience for my specific user profile or role. One of the concerns too that we talk with a lot of our clients about is the security surrounding search here. So let's say, for example, here our PDFs are stored on SharePoint, for example. I would only have access to files that I have access to within SharePoint itself. So in SharePoint, for example, you might have access control lists for your various files. And if I am a user here and I'm doing the search, finding the holiday schedule, and I click on that document, then I can sign in via single sign-on or whatever provider that you are using, and the authentication happens at the point of sign-in there, and I'm able to see that document. So we do work with a variety of systems there for whatever provider you're using along those lines. So as a user, I only have access to the files that I actually have permissions or security to be able to see. And that's another concern that we hear a lot from customers as well. All right, so not only can I find the information that I need as far as documents or website information or other information that I'm looking for as well, I might also be looking for experts. Let's say, if I am planning on my vacation here, I want to make sure that there are backup people on my team that are available to support my clients while I'm out. So you can also pull in information regarding experts at your company if you wanted to do that. So, not only can data be siloed, but employees might be siloed as well. And I think another change that we're seeing here is as we are working remotely this year, a lot of our teams might be growing. And since we're not in offices together to witness, the starting of these new team members and our companies are getting larger, we might not be aware of who the new experts are within our company. So here, for example, when I search on the term fusion, I'm also pulling back suggested experts that we're pulling in from our Active Directory system. So at your own organization, you might have a system like Active Directory and you have people's, levels of expertise documented, or this might be in an HR database, for example, where you might want to pull in information from a different source. Or even if you don't have this information available, you could also infer, what types of expertise a person has based on their activity. So this might be here, let's say Robert is a member of our support team and he has typically solved the majority of tickets regarding a specific solution or product type. We could designate him as an expert. Or, somebody who is very active in a specific Slack or team channel. That would be another great way to utilize that as well. So not only are you connected with the documents, but also the experts within your organization. So let's recap this challenge one. So siloed data, siloed experts can happen. And really what Lucidworks wants to do is to help your employees find the information that they need more quickly and reduce the time that they are spending in that search. So we really want to connect them with others within your organization that can help them with their day-to-day work and provide those proactive recommendations that will save them time on a daily basis. So let's move into the next challenge here. Challenge 2 is a lack of personalization for a lot of these search or, what is sometimes called digital workplace applications. So if you remember back to the movie, poor Jennifer Aniston and her lack of flair can also, affect your applications that you're using in the context of search and knowledge management solutions as well. So there are a lot of vendors out there and other systems that offer search, but sometimes those results could be less than desirable and not really what you are expecting. So as an employee, I can spend a lot of time in certain applications searching for information that I need, but it might not be super relevant, or I might be getting a ton of results and it's not really helping me to do my job. Another big thing that we see as well is from a training perspective, a lot of employees might not be aware of what I would call advanced search techniques. And this can often be a training component that leads to, time lost because they're not finding the information that they need. So let's talk about how we might go about solving this with a knowledge management solution here. What I might be looking for is, let's say I am looking for information on our Fusion software here in my digital workplace environment, which is part of our knowledge management solution, and I go out there to perform my search. So if I was using another system, and I won't badmouth other systems here, but I know internally we have a tool that we use for a lot of documentation, and if I search on the term Fusion, I get thousands of results. And a lot of them are just results with Fusion in the title, or perhaps they're mentioned somewhere in the article, and there doesn't really seem to be any rhyme or reason as far as the order that the system is showing me. What we really aim to do with our solution here is, when I go as a user and I search Fusion, and then I start putting my signals into the system. So perhaps I'm clicking on a document, I'm reading it, I'm giving it a thumbs up, or I'm liking it. We start cataloging cataloging those signals for the users and then start to deliver a tailored search experience directly to that group of users. So if you come into my workplace solution and you search Fusion here and you click on results, when you come back the next time and you search Fusion, you will see items that I've previously clicked on that are boosted up to the top of my results list. And the system learns through my actions over time and is able to improve the relevancy of my results. So really, this helps me to be quicker in finding the information that I need. We're going to dig again into that a little bit further, but let's talk about another way that you might utilize this. A lot of our organizations that we work with might have needs to specialize those signals or personalize that information by role or by department within their organization or even by region. So of course at Lucidworks, we are a global company, so we do have different regions where different information applies, and you might want your search results to be customized by those different areas. So here, for example, I am coming in and I'm searching the term Gartner here, and I'm a member of the marketing team, and I'm going to receive here as my result an article that pertains to our results in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. However, if I'm an engineer and I come in here and I search on the term Gartner, I might be seeing different results because of items that I have clicked on previously in the past, like, perhaps JIRAs that aligned with a proof of concept that I'm working on or other things along those same lines. So these results are really personalized based on things that you choose, whether that would be, your organizational role or your departmental needs or regions or that type of thing. So that is another way that we really try to improve that experience for the individuals that are searching. So not only can those search results be personalized based on my role, for example, but you can also use other features within the workplace area here that your users are probably used to using in their browsers as well. So you'll see here I've highlighted up at the top, I do have the ability to thumbs up an article or to save it. You can bookmark an article too, just like you bookmark something in your browser today if you want to come back and refer to that later. And then we've also built the capability to save searches that you've done in the past. So we've often found, and is a big request from our clients, that perhaps you have people that come in and they search the same data sets or filter by the same facets repeatedly here to try to find the information that they're needing. And they might have to do that on a daily or weekly basis. So this feature allows them to come in, complete their searches, and save those so that they can easily come in and click a button and do that search again to save themselves time in their day-to-day work. So we found this feature to be very handy for a lot of our clients as well. All right, so let's recap challenge 2. Just like Michael Bolton here, which I love that name, and Samir, Lucidworks really wants to team up to help your employees be more proactive and provide that hyper-personalized experience that people are used to from other applications that you're using. So we really hope that providing them with these personalized results will help save them time, and hopefully then they can serve your customers more quickly and more efficiently as well, because they're able to do their own jobs better too. So let's move on to challenge 3, and this is the one that I am most excited to talk about today, that I think is highly underrated here, and this is not taking advantage of AI-powered search. So our knowledge management solutions has a set of advanced machine learning algorithms and models that are designed to address specific problems in the search space today. So while I think taking advantage of AI-powered search and machine learning is highly important, a lot of us have found in previous years with various applications that it's not often easy to do if you don't have teams to support that. So here, Samir and Michael Bolton and Peter, they hate their printer in the movie Office Space, and so they take it out into the field because they want to beat it to a pulp. And you don't want to create the same situation for yourself whenever you're trying to deploy a knowledge management or machine learning solution to help you with your knowledge management efforts. So we want to help you take some of the frustration and the lift off of your teams so you can truly support AI-powered search within your organization. It can be difficult, I think we've all found, to maintain staff to allow us to do this. And, a lot of tools offer tools where you can set up manual rules, and it's a very time-intensive process. So we really want to help you take advantage of some of the machine learning techniques that we've learned to help you with this out of the box without having to put a ton of work into it. Not that there's not some required, but it makes it a lot easier on your teams as well. So let's take a look at how we do this. So if you're not very familiar with machine learning or AI, and I know many of us might be new to it in recent years as well, we use signals to help us know more about the users on our site. So there are different types of signals that we're receiving throughout the period of time that the user is using our application. So when a user searches, for example, we receive a request signal from them at the time of their search. And then to supply them with the results, we have a response signal where all of the documents, or let's say products, if you're e-commerce, are returned through the search engine to the user itself. We also have user interaction signals. So these are things like views, impressions, playing of videos, if you're sharing or liking something. So we capture that information too. And all of this information combines in the system, and it really can help you process signals across all of the different actions that your users are taking to help improve the relevancy of your results. So let's take one look further about how this actually works. So the real reason that we're tracking all of these signals is those signals really help us to improve the relevancy of our user search results. So we want to use the signals to understand what are our users searching and what are the best results for those searches that we're doing. So whether they're performing searches on our workplace site or an e-commerce site, for example, we want to understand what search queries they're performing, which are not performing well for them, and identify how to correct them. So with a lot of these machine learning techniques, we can actually rewrite the query before it hits the search engine itself, and we can help to add more context to the query based on knowledge that we've captured from other users. So this could be used to provide signal information to identify similar items that other users have clicked on that they have found helpful, or specific products if it comes to like an e-commerce case, for example. And if you were to take the approach of trying to do this manually across your site, it might take a lot of time, to be honest. So you can write manual rules in your system to define things like synonyms or spelling mistakes or that type of thing, but it's not very practical for your team to have to maintain, hundreds or thousands of rules on a day-to-day basis. So when you can take advantage of machine learning techniques, you can help to increase your relevancy of those searches across a large spectrum of queries that your users might be taking, and really kind of increase the coverage of search that your teams are able to provide. All right, so let's talk about this in the context of employees doing searches here. So we're back on our workplace site, and perhaps I'm looking for information on coronavirus. It is 2021, of course. And so some people might come and they might search for coronavirus. Some might search for COVID-19, for example. And through our search with machine learning, we can return results based on the fact that we know coronavirus is a synonym for COVID-19. Now, this might not be a great example today, since a lot of us are used to both of those terms. But if you do work in an industry where there are a lot of items that are misspelled or mistyped, or you have a lot of items with synonyms or phrases that are used, this might be very helpful to you. I often started out actually in the medical industry, of all things, and so a lot of my examples are from that. But let's take, for example, if I come to a site and I'm searching for heart attack symptoms as an end user, I might use the term heart attack. But if I come as a physician to a site and I were to search heart attack, I would probably enter myocardial infarction here. So both of those users are going to be looking for a little bit different results but those are synonyms of one another. So that might be an example. Another great example I could think of recently is we were working with a client that is a medical provider, and they were finding through some of their data that they were getting a lot of searches on their site for the term baby doctor. And when they dug further into this data, they could see what users were really looking for were pediatricians or OBGYNs, but the users just did not know to search that on their site to find the information that they need. So those would be great examples of synonyms or things that you can take advantage of with machine learning. You need to correct that information to provide the most relevant results to your users. So what is really cool about this, although I don't think it's highlighted as often as it should be, is you don't have to define all of this information manually. So here we have a dashboard that's available within our knowledge management solution of rules that are generated by machine learning. And in this screen, we have searches that employees have done regarding terms that we would call tail queries, or these would be queries that are considered to be underperforming or not performing very well. And what the system will do is suggest improved queries here that would yield more relevant or meaningful results for better precision. So you can decide as an organization whether you choose to approve or disapprove these recommendations, but you can use this same area here to review suggestions for those head-tail queries, for misspelling queries, for phrases and synonym detection as well. So you don't have to go in and manually be building those with your staff. Some of those will be suggested for you here and learning from your data, and then you can work on approving and publishing those to provide your users with better results there. Also, with our machine learning capabilities, you can, of course, use the machine learning visual rules editor that is in place there, but you might also want to pin or promote items that you are aware of that you want to bring to better attention to your employees. So let's take an example. For this search here, I might be searching the term Gartner again as I'm looking for information. And maybe I want to highlight to my employees some specific articles that I want them to be looking at. Or maybe you're preparing for an in-person conference later on in 2021, hopefully, cross our fingers, and you want to bring that up to the top of their list. You can see here, if I'm coming in and I'm searching Gartner, I do have the ability as an organization to pin items as well. And one of the great things here is that it doesn't have to be in the item's title or body. So for example, here, when I search Gartner, this article itself does not have the term Gartner in the title or body in the pinned item in purple here, but I am able to pin it up to the top of the list for people to see. Another thing that I can do too is I can bury items that I don't want to appear. So similar to boosting here, I might want to bury items that might not be super relevant. Perhaps they're older, or I don't want to encourage people to view them. And that is another option as well. So you can use those machine learning jobs to identify rules and to make changes to your queries. But you can also provide, what some people call altered relevancy, which would be a layer that goes on top of that by, pinning or promoting or boosting items or burying items that you deem appropriate as well. All right, so let's recap challenge 3 here, and that is taking advantage of machine learning. So obviously, this can be complicated. It does take additional setup to do, but we try to make it as easy as possible by providing out-of-the-box configurable solutions to help your teams save time. So you can take advantage of those offerings. You can pin, boost, bury, or block products or documents with the visual rules editor as well. Or you can fix underperforming search terms with our automated query rewrites using your synonyms and your phrases and your misspellings and those items. But also remember, if you already have a data science team and you are already experienced with working with data science, you can also bring and plug in your own models as well. So we do use, and I saw a question come through on this, the Selden Core, which is a machine learning framework to package, deploy, and monitor, where you can bring your own machine learning models as well if you wish to do so. All right, so we have seen at Lucidworks the adoption of our knowledge management solution at hundreds of companies that really want to provide those hyper-personalized workplace experiences for their employees. So, we all want to provide our employees with those consumer-like experiences that they're used to when they're using other applications out in the market. And really what the people that we work with are finding is that the contextual, personalized discovery of insights that their employees are doing are helping them to be more successful in their roles. These organizations are also able to adopt machine learning within their applications where perhaps they might not have had the opportunity or team time or size to do that before. And then also this helps employees to be more engaged as well. So, I think one of the practices that we talk about often within knowledge management is you really want to keep the morale of your staff up as well. And if they feel like they can more easily get to the information that they need and they're able to perform their roles more effectively, then they feel happier and are more likely to stay engaged within your organization too. All right, so I know today we have been super focused on the knowledge management solution area, but I wanted to recap and acknowledge that while we've been focused on that today, we really consider knowledge management to be just one of the areas of insight that we're able to provide across what we call the Connected Experience Cloud. So here you can see on the left-hand side of the screen here that we're using the system-generated and application-generated data provided by both employees and customers and trying to capture all of those signals that we're getting in, whether it be on your customer-facing website or internally on your internal employee-facing workplace, for example, if you will, and really we want to capture those, apply machine learning, and start to understand the intent of both our internal users and our customers as well. So while we do excel in knowledge management, we also have other offerings within the customer service space, which is one of my favorites, knowledge management itself, and also what we call product discovery, which might be more, product-facing content on your site, whether that be documentation for, clients or e-commerce or information that they're finding on your external website as well. And if you are interested in finding out more information about the other components of our Connected Experience Cloud, you can always come to our website and check out our other offerings as well in customer service or product discovery. And all of these, again, are building upon those signals that we're receiving and providing insights that you can use, across the board within your companies and organizations as a whole. All right, so let's talk quickly about some of our clients. Here are just a few of the organizations that use Lucidworks and some of our knowledge management solutions. In fact, 30 of the US Fortune 100 use our solutions as well. And here are a couple of clients that I want to highlight. So you are probably familiar with the SAS Institute, based out of North Carolina as well. And they use Fusion and our knowledge management solutions to power their internal intranet search. So they really try to improve their employee productivity and time to resolution by empowering their own knowledge workers with a unified search solution that grants access to over 9 million documents, you read that correctly, that are living in various siloed locations. And they're an excellent organization. Then the next one we have here is PricewaterhouseCoopers. It uses Fusion's knowledge management capabilities to parse through over 10 million documents. They also have 40,000 employees, and their goal is to deliver the most relevant employee and client insights from various data sources, including SAP and Workday. And with Fusion, they are able to provide employees with a 360-degree view of people and companies that has resulted in a decrease in their call center times, as well as increase in productivity of their knowledge workers. So another great example of the knowledge management solutions there. Okay, so I'm going to pause here. I've ended with the presentation portion of today, and I do see some questions coming in that I'm going to address here. Give me just a minute to pull up the Q&A and make the screen a little bit larger so I can see it. All right. One of the questions that I had here is, if I want more information, what can I do? So we do have a contact form on our website that you can always come out to and fill in your information on the contact form. I also invite you, if you have further questions, to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. I'm always happy to talk further just about knowledge management in general, or if you have questions about how the solution can be used at your organization, I'm happy to discuss that as well. So feel free to either reach out to me or fill out the contact form on our website. I have a question here about reiterating here, obviously, knowledge management and getting to self-serve is critical. Signals become more important versus explicit personalization, which is very true. So how can this data be sent back to KM creators so that more relevant content can be created? And how does Lucidworks help to send that data back to creators so content can be created and consumed? This is a great question. So part of what we do internally at Lucidworks, and I think this will depend upon your organization, is really looking at the data that you're provided from those signals and through the reporting that you have access to as part of your system. So we do work with a lot of clients on setting up reporting specific to their needs. And so we talk a lot about, what are specific KPIs or business goals that you're trying to achieve as an organization, and then how can we build reports to help you gain insight to that data that is out there that you're seeing within your searches. So we do have reporting capabilities and functionality that can be built based on your own needs as an organization, but often we will work with you to see, what type of information would you like your staff to see and have access to, so then you can make better informed decisions about, perhaps like what terms are people searching and what articles are they finding like most relevant, what are they clicking on the most, and that type of information. So we really try to work with you on a one-on-one basis to understand your needs and create those for you. So I hope that answers your question, Troy. Let me know if not. Okay, and then I have another question about, does it search all of these disparate things that have been connected? So as you saw there in my workplace application, you do have the ability as an organization to choose like what data sources that you want to bring in to the search there. So it does go out and search those disparate locations that you have identified as part of your work. And they were also asking about what the cost is to set up this type of workplace portal. And if you do want further information about the cost, I highly recommend filling out the contact form on our website, and then, or if you want to, you can always get in touch with me as well, and I can connect you with the right person to give you further information on pricing on that too, and I'd be happy to do that for you. So hopefully, Todd, that helps with your question as well. Another person had asked in the question here, could I mention again the knowledge centered service site. So that site is kcsacademy.net if you did want to go out and check what the Consortium for Service Innovation has out there. It's an excellent organization. I highly recommend it. And they have a lot of great materials on implementing knowledge management methodologies within your organization as well. And then I think we have answered all of the questions that are out there. Again, please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn too if you have any follow-up questions or have anything else that you need, and I'm happy to connect as well. Otherwise, I hope everyone stays safe and warm and has a fabulous afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us again.